Have the Jets found their quarterback in Mike White? Let's talk about it. Welcome in, Jets fans. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today I'm going to be discussing the Jets' 31-10 win over the Chicago Bears in the pouring rain with their backup quarterback. Before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's dive right in. So the New York Jets came out strong in this one, and they had something that they haven't had in a while. Very, very good quarterback play out of their once third-string quarterback, Mike White. White went 22 of 28 for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. In addition to that, White did not turn the ball over and was able to move the ball down the field and complement what has been all year a very good and potentially a Super Bowl caliber defense. I was very impressed with the way he played. I was very impressed with the way Zonovan Knight, also known as Bam Knight, a guy that I had really advocated early on in the offseason for them to keep on their 53-man roster. He looked really good today, taking up the full carries, 14 for 69 yards on that. You had Garrett Wilson go for 5 catches, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You had a hell of a performance from the defense. Look, I understand they played Trevor Siemian. They did not play Justin Fields. I get that. But this is who they played against. And I was really impressed with the way Robert Saleh had this team ready to go. Look, that loss to the Patriots was enough to make this team fold. I would not have been surprised if a 6-4 Jets team, or rather going into that 7-3 with a chance to be number 1 in the division if they win and falling all the way to the bottom of their division if they lost, losing on the final play of the game on a punt return. I wouldn't have been surprised if they came out a little bit, lackluster, a new quarterback change. This is the beginning of the end. But the Jets did not allow that. I had them winning this game. I did not have them winning 31-10, even with Siemian playing. I don't think he was that great, but I also think it's a big credit to what the Jets defense did to him. Bryce Huff getting in there, John Franklin Myers getting in there. Obviously, you love to see what they have in DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner being one of the best tandems at corner in the league, bar none. And then in addition to that, I thought they got some stellar linebacker play out of CJ Mosley, who jumped a route, diving interception near the goal line. Very big turning point in that game where they just were basically able to roll. This team won 31-10. I felt like this game was a 50-10 game. They never at any point felt like they weren't going to win this game, and it was in the pouring rain. So now let's talk about it. How did Mike White come out and ball like this? 2 catches for 64 yards from Elijah Moore and a touchdown. You had 50 out of Conklin. Knight added 34 on 3 catches in the receiving game. So I was very, very impressed with this. I loved the way this worked for the Jets. I loved the way they used Mike White. They didn't strain from him. Even in the pouring rain, he had a 91.7 QBR, and his passer rating was over 140. So when you look at what he brings to the table here, I was a little bit skeptical. It felt like coming into this game, this is a Flacco game. This is, what you're doing right now. You should be using Joe Flacco. Flacco is the guy that I would have started because he's got that Super Bowl experience. He's got the experience to go deep into the playoffs. And I just felt like, to me, it wasn't necessarily that Zach Wilson was lacking talent. That's not really the issue. He's missing the layups. He's missing the easy throws. He might hit the hard ones. He might make a nice play here and there and a big one, but he was missing the layups, which I felt like Flacco would hit. However, Mike White adds a little bit more mobility. He's exciting because he's a younger player. And while he is older than Zach Wilson, and I know that Robert Saleh made the comment that Zach Wilson is not done this season and will probably play again, I don't see him playing again if Mike White keeps this up. 22 of 28, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns. You don't need that. I mean, 22 of 28, 180 yards and a touchdown wins you this game. You don't need 3 touchdowns. You don't need 315 yards. You don't need them to not turn the ball over at all. but you definitely need to limit the turnovers. What White was able to do when they needed him to do it was so impressive, and it gives you hope moving forward against a tougher schedule. The back end of the schedule, you're going to be going up against the Bills and the Vikings and other teams like Seattle. It's not going to be all that easy. The Lions, they're they're probably one of the better 4-win teams in the league. This is not going to be easy, but this should give Jets fans hope, and it definitely makes me feel very confident about this team moving forward. They're 3-3 at home. They needed to get this win, but in the pouring rain, no less, to see him, slinging it around the yard the way he did was very impressive. And in addition to that, you had Michael Carter go down with an injury, so Zonovan Knight, who was the 4th string running back at one point this year, has to step in, and he steps in well. I'm excited for that because it looked like they finally got the run game going again. James Robinson was a healthy scratch, which was surprising. I wasn't expecting that. I'd imagine he'll be active moving forward. Could lose Michael Carter for the season, and that would be a significant blow. But the way Zonovan Knight played, this undrafted rookie free agent, nothing scares this guy. He is absolutely ready. He is taking it on. You got 5 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown out of Ty Johnson as well. So that's another guy the Jets like. He can make guys miss in space. And obviously what he can do as a receiver out of the backfield. You got Berrios, who you can use on end arounds, and they still continue to use him. I just really like the direction this team is taking. They're 7-4 now. They are in the playoff hunt. Once again, they're in the playoff picture. Right now, they're number 7 seed. And I think things can change. I think they can win this division still. I wasn't overly impressed with the way Buffalo handled Detroit, but I understand they were there for two games in a row. I get that. But I think the Jets can I think they can sweep the Bills this year. I know it sounds crazy, but I believe in this Jets team. I really do. I think the defense is Super Bowl ready. And I think if the offense gets Mike White like this, even half of this capacity each week, I think that they can win the majority of their games moving forward. This is a team you definitely have to look out for. And the rapid reaction should be, wow, this team, I know they played against the Bears, who are now 3-9. They're 1-6 on the road. But this was a ass kicking, and it really was. I mean, at the end of the day, the Jets did not give the Bears much of a chance to even win this game. It was 7-3, and then it was 17-10, but they scored 14 in the third quarter, and that was all she wrote. And it really felt like they could have scored way more than they did. So, look, is Mike White going to be the franchise quarterback moving forward? Maybe not. But what I saw out of him was very exciting. Anybody who's a Jets fan should be very happy with what we saw. You're just not going to get games like this, out of your third stringer. And what he was able to do was very impressive. It's not to say that the Bears are a top-notch team, but you got to give him his due. You got to give him his credit. And, I just think moving forward, you look at the Vikings next week, 9-2 Vikings, you're going to Minnesota. That is going to be a tough game, no doubt about it. But if they can win that game, then they have the Bills in Buffalo. I think they can win that game. They just have to play the way they did today, or at least a little bit similar. They have the Lions, they have the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Dolphins. None of these are easy games, but I could see them winning the majority of them, and I think that they are going to win the majority of them. I think right now, if you're looking at this team, at the very least, they're an 11-6 ball club, and they could surprise and be 12-5, or maybe they even win out. I don't think they'll win out, but would not surprise me. Saleh has this team going the right direction. He made the tough call. That's what I want to give credit to. He made the tough call. He decided to bench Zach Wilson. This is a game where you easily could have argued playing Zach Wilson. I think he probably would have played all right, I would imagine, against the Bears. But now Mike White is under center. He played very well. He's going to I think he's going to build off this game. And I think he's got a very, very big test against the Vikings next week that we'll see, because the Colts and the Cowboys are the Sunday Night Football game. And I'll be honest with you, if the Colts lose, I'm recording this on a Monday, so if they lose Monday Night Football to the Steelers, they're completely out of it, I would imagine. So I think that game gets flexed. I think it's probably going to be to the Niners and the Dolphins, but if it isn't, the Jets and Vikings absolutely have an argument to be that flex spot. And that means it would be Kirk Cousins on primetime versus the Jets. I like the Jets in that game. So we'll see what happens. I'll get you guys a preview later on the week, but rapid reaction in this video. Just if you take away anything, I was very high on the Jets coming into the season as a team that could take a big leap, maybe barely miss the playoffs or make it, but this is a big leap nonetheless. You win 4 games last year, and this year I had them winning 9 to 10. Right now, I think that they can win 11. We'll see if they even win 12. But this defense is legit, and this defense is going to give anybody a problem. They gave Josh Allen fits. I think this defense really has what it takes, and as long as Mike White is making his layups, they can win this. They can win this division. They can win this division. They could be a problem in the AFC. There's no reason why they can't be the Bengals of last year. I mean, they don't have a Joe Burrow. I get that. They don't have a Jamar Chase, but one would argue Garrett Wilson is coming into his own, and maybe he is that Jamar Chase, that young rookie, explosive rookie that can break open the game. Elijah Moore's starting to get acclimated again into the offense, and whether it's Zonovan Knight or James Robinson or whoever, I think they're going to have the ground game working. So the offensive line, they've been through a lot. I think you see teams around the league and they've struggled. I think this Jets team just continues to fight. They've had all sorts of injuries. They're going to get healthier, not much healthier because they're not going to get Breece Hall back. They do have injuries all over the place, but very exciting stuff if you're a Jets fan. This team is for real. If you haven't figured that out, the 7-4 team is no joke. I think they go 8-4 next week. I think they beat Minnesota and gears up an 8-4 versus potentially 9-3 Bills team, and that could be the deciding factor of who wins that division. Considering they also have a Jets Dolphins game, which could be on prime time, last game of the year. That's also going to be big. So the Jets have some huge games on the schedule. If they step up, they're going to be in a good position to not only make the playoffs, but also win the division. But we'll see. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I'll see you guys soon. Later.